my gauge is working. Looks like I'm out of gas. I don't think so. Oh wait. Now it went off again. It went off again. My gauges are reading 0 again. So it's one of those intermittent faults. Could be some corrosion on the fuse terminal. I'm just guessing. But I'll have to check it later. Gauges are still off. Dash lights are working. Everything's working. Just these gauges right here. So I'm wondering if it's the terminal connection to the gauges, if there's corrosion on the terminals on the gauges. But why would they go off? Both go off at the same time, because I think they got separate terminals, so that's kind of funny. Well, just have to check the fuse terminals when I get a chance. Now it came back on again. About 3 minutes later. It was off for 3 minutes, now it's back on. Well, we'll see how long it stays on. Probably just a bad fuse. But the engine runs good. Now, I never told you that you can reuse your head bolts. Everybody knows that. But no, seriously, about the head bolts and the engine. This engine is a little bit different, you know, from the newer engines that have aluminum head, aluminum block, and some kind of head bolts made of some type of alloy, maybe titanium. I don't know what they make them out of. But you know, the older engines like this one, like I said before, have 12 millimeter head bolts, hardened alloy. The cast engine block is cast iron. It's not aluminum block. It does have an aluminum head. So I got a cast iron engine block, old school, and massive 12 millimeter head bolts, 10 of them, which screw into the cast iron threads in the block. So it's perfect matchup for the head bolts. You know, if you have if you had an aluminum block, and I think some newer engines do have aluminum blocks, that would be a different story, because those threads strip out real easily, and you would have to replace the bolts or the head. I'm not sure. Or that would probably be just recommended, to replace the bolts or the head on an aluminum block. But yeah, so that's why I replaced the gasket without having to replace the head bolts, because you know, cast iron block, hardened alloy bolts, I mean, you have the strongest alloys, you know, made just about for an engine block. Strongest metals to join together. So that was a pretty easy, foolproof decision for me, even though they stretched out a little bit. The bolts stretched out. You know, they're still threading into the block and holding securely. I just had to tighten them down a little bit more than what the factory specs say in the manual. But I'll have to check that fuse. Gauges are still working. Probably just a little corrosion or something. And there's the fuse box. I'm wondering if it's the regulator, because I have this wire tied in to that fuse. So the internet says the primary cause of the fuel and temperature gauges in 85 Isuzu Pup are both supplied with a regulated 7-volt power source generated by a small vibrating contact arrangement inside the instrument cluster. If this regulator is failing intermittently, both gauges will stop working at the same time and may come back on as the component cools or connection is temporarily restored. So I forgot that I have there's a voltage regulator attached on the inside of the instrument cluster. It's just a little, it looks like a voltage regulator, you know, just a little chrome square flat box, kind of like they put on the back of your alternator. Some alternators have it on the back of the alternator, and so I think some have it on the back of the alternator and also on the back of the instrument cluster. There's one specifically for the instrument cluster, if my memory serves me correctly. So that sounds more like the problem to me, and that's kind of a bitch to get to, that instrument cluster. You pretty much have to take the instrument cluster out of the dash and replace it. I'll have to look for another one on eBay or something. So yeah, that's that. And the wiring diagram to the fuse block is showing that the instrument circuit is a yellow wire, yellow red, yellow black, yellow green, yellow white. So that's the wire. I can see if power is running to that wire with a circuit voltage tester. See if there's power going along that wire to the fuse block when the gauge is not working and when it's working. If there's power going to it when it's not working, then I would think that would most definitely be or mean that the voltage regulator has failed. Got to check that power.